Welcome to That 80s Show. I lost an 80s quiz, Dori.
But that's because other people cheated, Paulo.
This is what I suspect.
There's no ways you would have lost.
This is what I suspect. This past weekend, my daughter's school had a fundraising event, a quiz evening, an 80s quiz evening.
You're like, I've got this.
I'm going to do this, right?
Yeah.
Dori.
Who else?
I was impervious. So it was a run-of-the-mill competition. Of course, the day before, we do some brushing up on our 80s knowledge, go up quizzes. The Quizmaster, used some of those quizzes word for word.
So you were well prepared.
So I suspect it was a big room. There's like 20 tables, like a school hall, right? We sat right in the front. The people sat in the back in the corners. They're Googling. They're Googling stuff.
I mean, how were their phones not taken away from them at the door? I mean, if it's supposed to be about the 80s, you shouldn't even have a phone.
Oh, exactly. You got to be authentic, right?
Yeah.
So firstly, we tallied up our score versus the score they gave us. It did not match up. My wife and I are very competitive.
Right.
It did not match up. The music round, impeccable.
I'm sure.
Oh, I mean, come on.
Were there Wham questions?
There was not a Wham question in anything. 50 odd questions. Not a Wham question anyway. Music, you know what killed me? Johnny Clegg. Johnny
what
Clegg.
Didn't you know?
We got the name of the song, his song Dela.
Yeah.
We thought it was called Zondela or Sondela or something. Dela. There was a sports question that there was a 2 out of 3 and we kind of got that. But Dori.
I know what caught you though. I know what caught you out.
Aldo Montoya. My name is Aldo Montoya. You killed my father and now I've come to kill you.
Hang on, was that the question? What was his name?
Uh-uh.
No, that was the quote, and what movie is it from?
What movie is it from?
How did you not know that, though? Even if you have not watched the movie, how did you not know that?
Aldo Montoya sounds a lot like Tony Montana. I thought it was Scarface.
You guess Scarface?
I guess Scarface.
Oh,
we were confident of Scarface.
That's embarrassing.
We were confident of Scarface, so it was a Princess Bride question did for me, which means I may probably watch Princess Bride. The next thing this is why I know people were cheating.
Yeah.
There was like, what was the volcano disaster in Washington in 1983? But you see, I knew that because that was one of the Googled questions. If you Google 80s trivia quizzes,
what
it
the hell
pops
is
up.
it? I wouldn't know.
Mount St. Helens. And so I assume the people who got it were the same people, maybe they did like a bit of a refresher.
Yeah.
One of the questions was, which type of photographic device was developed in the 80s?
Would it be the Polaroid was before? Was it the Polaroid?
So that's what we think, right?
Not the Polaroid, the Instamatic.
Everyone puts Polaroid, everyone. The team that won, you know what the answer is?
What?
Disposable camera.
Disposable cameras that came out in the 80s?
The team that won, one of the guys with me said, well, technically every camera is a disposable camera. The Polaroid is disposable.
Right.
He's a lawyer. And everyone said Polaroid except the team that we suspect that won.
That were definitely Googling.
And they got disposable camera.
Do you think they were Googling themselves, or did they have someone Googling in the audience who was sending them answers?
Oh, they were Googling. There was enough people that there was a child. I suspect a child. They were Shazamming songs.
What?
They were definitely Shazamming, Dori.
Their phones should have been taken away.
That's
I'm
what
sorry.
Saying. When Dori and I host that 80 show quiz evening,
which will happen,
phones at the door. The only phone allowed in is a massive Corbin Burnson style LA Law phone.
Corbin
What?
That is funny.
Why did I mention Corbin Burnson? Oh, all will be revealed.
Okay.
If you're listening on the Cliff Central stream, we open up with a song because we're allowed to.
Yes.
Live stream, we open up with a song. Played Pet Shop Boys' Paninero.
Paninero.
I'm saying Paninero. Paninero.
Yeah.
Because it's Italian.
Right.
Do you know what that song's about, Dori?
Not a clue.
Oh, so why do I think about it? The Guardian. I'm telling you. I get so much content from The Guardian.
You should give them a donation then. I'm sure they've asked.
They do ask. They ask all the time.
Yes.
Click, not right now. They say, we make high quality journalism free.
Yes.
Would you like to donate? Not right now.
Same with Wikipedia.
Same. I mean, Wikipedia, I'll never donate. I will never. So, Paninero, the Paninari, were actually a subculture in Italy in the 80s. Fancy boys who are all in their 50s now. So I'm showing now, we'll put this article up on that 80 Show SA Facebook page.
Are they sex workers?
No, they're paninari.
What does that mean?
They were just cool dudes in the 80s, right?
Okay.
So this is what they look like now. The guy's even got a paninari t-shirt. So they're all in their 50s.
They look like ZZ Top.
Do you think they look like ZZ Top just because the one guy's got a short beard?
If ZZ Top shaved their beards.
They're very stylish looking Italian men.
No, they are.
Listen, men in your 50s don't wear white jeans. The one guy's wearing white jeans, don't do that. Okay?
But I mean, the Mediterranean diet clearly works, right?
But you see, that's what I'm saying. Eat like your grandmother eats. In Mediterranean, that's what you got to eat. So it was a subculture in the 80s, the paninari. Okay? I mean, epitomized by the Pet Shop Boys song. And they say their typical paninari outfit was sporting Timberland boots, cowboy-style belts, and flashy sunglasses. Here is a picture of a guy, a typical paninari in Italy in the 80s. He looks very 90s though. Timberland boots are so 90s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that a windbreaker though?
It is a windbreaker. So the paninari.
It's not turquoise enough though.
It's not really. I mean, it's a little bit too one-tone for me. They loved Anglo-American pop singers like Duran Duran. Their song, the Wild Boys song, Wild Boys, they interpreted it as Wa Boy. Wild Boy. And that's how they... Wild Boy. That's why they greeted each other. If you're Italian, you know what Wild Boys means. And it became the unofficial anthem. They loved Culture Club, Cyndi Lauper, Wham, Madonna, and Michael Jackson, as well as Italo Disco, Dori. Artists like Gazebo and Denho.
So many Google alerts in there for you for how you found this article.
How did I find this? They drove around on high-powered Italian motorbikes. It was a subculture of just being, they say, what was Paninari about? They were just being good guys. They were just being cool, stylish Italian guys. And Pet Shop Boys were like, well, we're going to make a song about you.
All right.
You know, we love the Pet Shop Boys.
Were they like the Italian guys in Joburg in the late 70s, early 80s with like the comb?
I'm telling you.
Comb in their sock?
Has to have been. I'm telling you. Like, especially the Italian club back in the 80s.
Right.
In Hillbrow, definitely full of paninari there. So I'm telling you, it was there. You know a paninari when you see one. Once you see these photos, my God, that's a paninari. I'm hungry now. Paninari.
It does sound like some sort of sandwich with mortadella on.
Oh, God. I'm so hungry now. I was hungry for interviews last week, Dori.
Yes.
This is our first show like this. We took a break because we had breaking interview Simon Halfon.
Dude, I loved that interview. You outdid yourself. I'm sorry that I couldn't make it. I really am sorry that I couldn't make it because I had such FOMO listening to it.
Thank you so much, Dori. It was Simon Halfon. This is how the story goes. It's in your feed right now.
Yeah. You have not listened. You have to listen.
You have to go back.
It's not very long. It's like 34 minutes.
34 minutes, you got to keep it tight. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, the Wham documentary comes out. You may have heard it. We've spoken about it, mentioned once or twice on the show. There's a Wham documentary. Yeah. And we got to speak to somebody, reach out all our connections, Netflix, everybody. Chart savant, celeb. So he's the celeb savant.
Yes.
Barrett Edelstein says, I got someone. He's one of the producers.
He doesn't never have someone.
No, he's always got someone. One of the producers.
Yeah.
And then we start like finding out about this guy. I mean, his career started designing album covers.
I love that story.
So, Dori, regale the story for people who've not listened yet.
Well, I mean, like, you know, you always want to hear people's origin stories, like people who have ended up doing amazing things in, for example, the entertainment industry, right? Like, where did it all start? And I mean, his story of just how he first of all got into A, doing album covers, and then B, getting a job doing them, getting paid to do them. I'm not going to ruin it. Go listen to the interview. But it's such I mean, where's the movie about his life? Because, wow.
There was a guy, the guy who got him in was a man called Cosmo Vinyl.
I mean, I've never heard those two words together. But now, they're the perfect two words to go together.
I Googled Cosmo Vinyl.
Oh, yes?
I was expecting to look like Cosmo Kramer. Similar-ish, I'm not going to lie.
Is he still around?
No, he's not.
So we could have interviewed him next.
So he tells us that story. And I mean, listen, Style Council, The Clash. Oh, sorry, The Jam, not The Clash.
Yeah.
Oasis.
Kim Wilde.
And then he becomes friends with George Michael.
Yeah, friends. Not working relationship.
Now,
friends.
When you want to say friends, right? In the interview we did, obviously over Zoom, we saw cameras on, and he says, oh, the last time I was sitting with George was actually at this very table. I was like, oh, God, that's what friends you were. Like George Michael was in your home office. They live down the road from each other. He tells us a group of them.
Yeah.
Let's go for dinner with George Michael. So we ask him how it comes about. He designed, I mean, we've had a laugh about Andrew Ridgeley's solo album, Son of Albert. He designed the album cover.
Can I just say, he starts saying, that's one of my favorite. And I thought, oh my God. And he went, album covers.
Yeah.
Because I was like, if you say that's one of your favorite albums, I don't believe you.
No, listen. Andrew Ridgeley has spoken about the album in his book, right? He accepts what it is. And
that was funny.
And that's how it came about. Andrew Ridgeley just wanted to do like a little short film stories. We've got to do this. Speaks about it. One of our favorite devices was how they used the scrapbooking element.
Yes.
George and Andrew, how they kind of like, because we said, why wasn't a Talking Heads documentary? He explains why. But what, more than anything, what a cool guy.
Yes. No, he came across as genuinely lovely.
Yeah, just really nice guy. I know the celeb savant Barrett Edelstein is looking to do another interview to uncover more because you guys
just scraped the surface.
That's what I'm saying. So Barrett's gonna like kind of get into his work with other artists, and I hope sufficiently you have FOMO right now, if you're listening. So go look in your feed, get that interview, Simon Halfin.
Yeah. Even if you're not that interested in Wham, because that was the reason for getting him, was to talk about the Wham documentary. He just has great stories from the 80s in general. He's just an interesting dude. And
the 90s. I mean, he talks about Oasis. He talks about the Gallagher brothers. You know,
yes, he
mentions it. I mean, I'd love to get more into that. So that's where you found this, finding your feed. That 80s show, you'll find the link on our Facebook page as well. That 80s show is a... Dori, what's your thoughts on Ryan Reynolds?
He would be my second husband if, the world allowed.
I was telling my wife yesterday, she said I'm talking shit. He and I would be best friends.
Oh, yeah. No, you guys would definitely be.
I think we'd be best friends.
Because you have the same sort of humor. And, yeah, I think I see that. I totally see that.
We both love Blake Lively. I mean, so...
And also, I mean, you both love football.
He owns Wrexham, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, you love football. I don't know. Do you love... What is his drink? Is it gin?
Aviator gin.
Do you drink gin?
I can't. My body can't break down the sugars in white spirits.
Is that a thing?
It evidently is. So back in the 80s, if I could drink, I wasn't because I was in primary school, I couldn't drink Malibu. It's a white spirit. So I couldn't drink Malibu.
Wow.
What am I going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah, I can't drink Malibu.
Coca Rica?
Not even Coca Rica. I mean, got the budget for Coca Rica. Excuse me. Excuse me. Was it Coca Rica or Vin Coco?
Coca Rica. The white bottle with the brown lid.
Yes.
It looks different now. They've rebranded it. But we always had Coca Rica in our house. My dad liked it. And I used to take little sips of it as a child because it was delicious.
It was delicious. You put that with Sprite back in the 80s.
That and Red Cinzano were my favorite drinks as a young child under 10. Yes, it was the 80s. Child alcoholics were a thing.
Hey.
But it's why I don't drink much today.
Mediterranean
honestly,
lifestyle.
I was sipping alcohol from when I was 4 years old, and I barely drink today.
That's what I'm saying. I said to my daughter, you can have alcohol. You know what you're going to have when you're eventually going to get to an age when you want, you can have.
Yeah.
To take it away. It's not fun. It's not fun. You have it with your parents.
Exactly.
Doing stuff with your parents isn't fun. While we're on it, just before I lose train of thought, Cinzano, Campari as well. Did you ever have Campari?
Gross. Didn't like Campari.
Gross. Campari was gross.
But Red Cinzano was pretty delicious, actually.
Red Cinzano. I remember once at a Rouse Spring Fest, I think I've spoken Benini. You've got your Benini stories. You were on the Benini train.
No. I was on the Esprit.
Esprit train.
Yes.
All right. Esprit's dead, I think. There's still Benini. Anyway.
I think there's Esprit can. No, maybe I'm wrong.
Whatever. Cinzano, Campari, not the point.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds. So he's definitely an 80s kid. Now, why I knew we'd definitely be best friends, he has two fun facts. So in Deadpool, when you watched it, he talks about not just Wham. Oh,
I know exactly which fact you're bringing to this show because I've seen it all over social media.
No. That's entry-level 80s snooping.
We talk about the Bear Arthur thing.
That's entry-level 80s snooping.
Cool.
I'm going to touch on it.
All right.
So, of course, we know he loves Wham.
Yes.
Right? Wham.
Yes.
Even now, you want to Wham Weem. Wham Weem or Wham Meme? A Weem. A Wham. Get yourself a Wham on that 80s show. You'll find that. Then, of course, Dori, you want to talk about the B. Arthur thing?
Yeah, so, I mean, look, I don't know the comic. Obviously, this was a thing in the comic.
No, it was the Deadpool movie.
The Deadpool movie. Yeah, but I mean, isn't it based on something, or was that just the character? Is Deadpool based on a comic? I don't know enough about
Deadpool
this.
is based on a comic,
So
yes.
obviously in the comic, the character of Deadpool has an obsession with B. Arthur.
Okay, right.
I assume. I haven't read the comic.
Look, I read the comics when I was like in like 12 or 13, so I don't remember.
But I'm
them that
assuming
well.
because all over social media this week has been a picture of Ryan Reynolds wearing a T-shirt with B. Arthur's face on it, and the fact that he paid what was it, $10,000
$10,000 of his own money.
to the B. Arthur estate, or was it the Golden Girls estate, whatever it is, the B. Arthur estate, so that he could use that in the movie to be true to the character. So I'm assuming it's based on the comic that he needed to do that.
Could be. I'm not going to
Either way, fantastic nod to the 80s.
Fantastic. Golden Girls. No Golden Girl questions in my quiz.
None?
I was expecting.
Not a one?
I was expecting name one of the 4 Golden Girls.
Oh my God, come on.
Not even one. Not even that. Anyway, for entry level. Sorry, I got to tell you. To lose that entry level, I definitely cheated. They definitely cheated.
Okay, one day you'll let it go. That and the AHA thing. One day you'll let them go.
You know what? In the music section,
Yeah.
you got 10 questions.
Right.
They play you the intro of the song. The intro was too long. For 80s hurdle people like you and I,
Yeah.
they kind of like gave a minute intro.
Can I just quickly explain that for people who don't
Oh,
understand?
go for it, yeah.
There's a thing called 80s hurdle. It's kind of like Wordle, but you have to guess the 80s song from like certain amounts of time of a song.
Oh, shit, I'm doing it wrong.
Oh, what do you mean
Because
you're doing
I'm
it
going
wrong?
to the like athletics track and running hurdles in shorts.
With your tackle hanging out, like in the Grease movie.
Those hurdles are greased afterwards, I can tell you that. Anyway, so either way, do 80s hurdles.
Yes.
Okay. The intros were too long.
Of course.
Guess which song they started with?
Take on Me.
No, they finished with Take On Me.
Ah.
That's how you do it. You finish with Take On Me.
What did they start with?
They started with Rick Astley. Never Gonna Give You Up.
Yeah. Easy.
Easy. No, they were easy.
Easy.
Whitney Houston was in there. Africa.
Got all
was
of
in
them.
there. I got all of them. It was just Johnny Clegg. Johnny Clegg did for me. I fascinated the people at my table in that I started writing down the answer on the first beat. They were easy songs. No, it's not, listen,
Yeah.
through you and your B-sides and the stuff like
Except the table at the back was Shazamming. Bastards.
Shazam bastards. So Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. Back to him.
We know he's an 80s kid. He's a marketing genius. I said Ryan Reynolds is to marketing what Steve Jobs is to technology.
Okay.
I say it. You know how much money that man's made? You know how much money? Anyway, he makes more money. So he's got a streaming service. Was
Right.
involved in a streaming service, right? So what I don't know, right, is in the States there's tons of streaming services.
Yeah.
Just all over the place. And what they do is they syndicate a lot of 80s or 90s shows, right? Because they're cheap. They're cheap just as fillers. So they got their main shows, but they just like run 80s or 90s shows, just like
Reruns.
the reruns non-stop.
Right.
So Ryan Reynolds gets involved in this channel and he reboots Alf.
Okay.
Now, those of you who don't know, Alf, fantastic show from the 80s. Alf standing for alien life form. This creature looks like a bit of a dog, bear, badger, furry, Danny
Turd.
DeVito-sized character.
Okay.
And he lives with a family and shenanigans
Yes.
on his planet. They eat cats. He tries to his family cat. Solves problems, the whole thing. And loved him. Everyone loved him. Everyone loved Alf in the 80s.
I didn't love Elf, but it's fine because I was probably just a bit too old by then.
Okay, fair
We were
enough.
young.
Fair enough.
Younger kids.
It's kind of like, imagine Alex P. Keating, Michael J. Fox, Alex P. Keaton, Michael J. Fox, furry.
Well, I don't have to imagine because Teen Wolf.
Right. Good nod. Good nod. Shout out Jason Bateman, Teen Wolf 2,
J-Bay.
not as good. J-Bay in little shorts, good.
Always good.
All is good. So Ryan Reynolds now reboots Alf for the ads on the channel. But he's going to listen. You want to put ads, here's the way it's going to work. You want to advertise on this,
Yeah.
we're going to create the ads for you, but we're going to make them as little cut-off sections or little episodes of Alf,
Okay.
right? I'm going to play one of them right now. This one particularly, now Ryan Reynolds' channel is called the Maximum Effort Channel, right? That's the name of his production company. They produce Deadpool, does all his stuff.
Cool.
Does all his ads, all the rest of it. And these are the ads that now they've launched the pilots, but as they go along, they're going to take on other brands. But instead of ads, they're doing little Alf mini episodes.
Dear Ryan Reynolds, if in fact that is your real name, I recently saw one of your Mint Mobile commercials advertising premium wireless for just $15 a month. It was humorous, but I have questions. Do they have Mint in Andromeda? I have a few loose ends there I need to tie up, and I don't want to get nickel and dimed. Number two, why haven't you answered my DMs? P.S. I loved you in The Notebook.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Is that the guy who was the kid in Elf, or is that just a random
No,
actor?
I read he is somebody, because in it you would have heard, yes, there is another man there.
Yeah.
It is not the kid. That would have been fantastic, though.
Yeah.
That would have been absolutely
Who was
fantastic.
the kid even?
I don't remember a kid. I just
Even
remember
make it
Alf.
out of Elf. No, there was a kid. Weren't there two
No,
kids?
there was a kid. There were two kids.
There were two kids, yeah.
There were two kids. I remember the dad. The dad.
Dad,
then-
I remember
yeah.
very well.
He then went in a lot of stuff.
Mm.
But that's Ryan Reynolds
That's
rebooting
genius.
Alf.
Genius.
I mean, I'd watch that mini Alf.
You'd come up with that concept.
I'd just watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. One day he'll reply to your millions of messages, or has he blocked you?
No, I'm blocked. I'm blocked on that X shit. Oh, so that 80s show, we love talking about the 80s. We love 80s movies. And,
Maybe we can get Ryan Reynolds for an interview to talk about Deadpool and the whole 80s aspect of Deadpool. There's the angle. Because who's talking to him about that?
he would love it. Careless Whisper is in Deadpool.
Exactly.
He would love it. 2 weeks ago, that 80s show, 150th movie recommendation, according to my records.
Ish.
I think I'm wrong.
You're definitely wrong, but we'll go with it.
It's definitely the 150th one I've done. Dori,
No, you forgot. That list is incomplete. We know that list is incomplete.
Dori, it very well could be 150. 150
Let's go with it.
movie recommendations. Every week, Dori and I pick a movie. The other one doesn't know what the movie is. For 149, we never landed on the same movie. In a no way planned 150th episode, we both last time recommended My Stepmother is an... Oh, why did I lose confidence as I said that? My Stepmother is an Alien.
Yes.
Fantastic movie, by the way.
Great movie.
I liked that we had both done the same movie, actually.
And for not the same reason. It wasn't like that movie was in, the universe that week. Like there was
It wasn't
a thing.
an anniversary of it.
It was random.
I mean, there was the aliens thing in America.
Yeah, but
Aliens
that
in
wasn't.
Senate.
No.
My senator's an alien.
My neighbor is an alien, probably.
Oh,
go with it.
already tell me. Is that the one with the crying baby?
No, I'm just saying, your neighbor could be an alien. Because, now we know that they really exist.
Okay.
Anyone could be an alien.
Anyone could be an alien.
Anyone. You could be one. I could be one.
Shit, am I an alien?
I don't know. Are you? Would you know?
How would I know if I'm an alien?
Oh.
Jeez, I should have uncovered this in the Senate.
I'm just seeing scenes from V as we're discussing this. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't want a
No.
little lizard baby coming in my
No.
hoo-hoo. No, no ways.
I am 110% sure we do not have the same movie this week.
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. Because mine's a sports movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
so not then.
No,
So not.
No.
Mine's an animated Japanese movie.
You see, this is why I know like weird 80s songs and shit like that, because Dori goes Japanese on us.
This movie is on Netflix, available to watch. It is one of the many Studio Ghibli, however you say it. The guys who made My Neighbor Totoro, Lilo and Stitch. No, Lilo and Stitch. Not Lilo and Stitch. The other one that I can't think of right now. Really grateful.
Oh, there are disapproving teens shaking their heads at us who are just getting into Japanese animation.
They're all cool. Go watch them. They're on Netflix. But this one in particular, I have never seen this movie. It is, when people talk about these films, there's always, my favorite's My Neighbor Totoro, or my favorite's the... And this movie comes up a lot as people's favorites, but I had never, ever watched it. And last week I was like, let me watch it, because the time has now come. It is a very sweet movie. It is called Kiki's Delivery Service. You may have heard of it.
I used that last week, I think.
No.
Okay, no.
I had no idea what this movie was about. I am cheating slightly in that the original version of Kiki's Delivery Service that came out in 1989 was Japanese with no English subtitle, with no English dub version.
Okay.
The version that is currently on Netflix is an English dub version, but it only came out in the 90s, but it doesn't matter. We're going to just forget that little fact.
Right.
And go with the fact that this is a great film.
Because I quickly Googled the cast, and yes, there are very definite English actors in there.
Yes, some well-known names.
Oh, I know this.
Tell us.
I know this movie poster.
Yeah.
Oh,
Probably.
you got to Google that quickly. Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yeah.
You have seen Kiki.
Yeah.
That's Kiki on. That's
And
Kiki.
if you hear Kiki, you'll go, I know that voice.
Okay, Japanese Kiki, because in English
No.
it was voiced by Kirsten Dunst.
Exactly.
She must have been a child.
Kirsten
Dunst.
Kirsten.
This must have been before.
No. Remember that the voice was done in 1998.
True point. Yeah.
1998. So she wasn't a child.
She wasn't a child, though.
She's young, but not a child.
Right.
So yes, Kirsten Dunst does the voice of the English dub, which is available on Netflix. And there's also Janine Garofalo who does a character. Doesn't matter. None of this matters.
No.
The reason you're going to watch this movie, apart from the fact that it's a very sweet story, which I will tell you about now, there is a black cat
Yes.
in the movie named Gigi. In the English dub version, Gigi is voiced by a man named Phil Hartman. If you Google him, you'll know who he is. He was a Saturday Night Live alumni. He had a very tragic end, which we won't get into because it's depressing. But the point is...
Well, Phil Hartman also he's a legendary Simpsons voice actor.
Oh, yes,
Troy
absolutely.
McClure.
Yes.
But he did so many of the early Simpsons voices.
Yes, he did many voices and many Saturday Night Live things. And I promise you'll know him when you see him. He makes this character of this cat hilarious. The absolute highlight of the film. While I was watching it, out of curiosity, I took the dub off and went to the original Japanese because I wanted to hear how different the cat sounded in Japanese. Beyond different, completely different. And there's articles about how he completely changes, when they did the dub version with him, he completely changes the cat's character, personality, all of that.
Really?
Completely. Because not only is it a really, really, really different voice, so the original Japanese cat is just like a cute little cat. And I'm not sure if the voice actor was a man or woman. It sounded like it could be either. It was like, that kind of voice. And then he comes along and makes it this really grumpy, sarcastic cat, which is hilarious.
Phil Hartman was a genius.
Yeah.
Though. I don't think people really understand what a talented comedian, actor he was. He was phenomenal.
Oh, no. I mean, I went down the rabbit hole when I was I actually did research. I went down the rabbit hole and like I said, I didn't even realize what his personal story was, which is a very sad, terrible story. We won't get into. So
his wife killed him.
In a
nutshell.
In a nutshell.
Yeah.
And then herself. Long story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you the basic plot, which is very cute. And even though it sounds like it's a kiddie story, there's a lot of adult themes that are explored in this movie. So Kiki is a 13-year-old trainee witch. She's a witch. She comes from a family of witches. This is completely normal, by the way, in this movie. It's completely normal to see witches flying on broomsticks through the sky in this land. Now, it's not Japan.
Okay.
The setting of the movie is actually supposed to be some fantasy, not real city in Europe, but the city is based a little bit on Stockholm with a touch of some other European cities thrown in.
So random. Stockholm of all places.
So the thing is, the movie is actually based on a book.
Uh-huh.
And I think in the book it said some European, like a European city, but it had a fake name. It wasn't a city that existed.
Right.
So what happened was when they were making the movie, the production team literally went to Stockholm to get ideas of how to make a city look European, because it's a Japanese production. They didn't know what does a European city look like. I mean, I suppose you could have. It was the 80s though. You couldn't really Google.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have gone to find some encyclopedias at the library.
But you're not going to get the essence. It's like, you know what? It's all about the nooks and crannies.
You know what? They got a free overseas trip out of it, and that's what matters, right?
You know what I'm saying?
So the city's like an amalgamation of various European cities. And then the talking black cat is her companion.
Right.
Who goes with her to essentially look after. So what it is in the story, when you are a witch, when you turn 13, you have to leave home for a year and move to another place to find what is your unique witch power as such.
You got to turn on your witch switch.
Yes, something to that effect. So they said you got to find what is your talent, your witch talent.
Yeah.
You know? And on the way, she meets another witch who had just completed her year. And she said that telling the future was her thing that she had discovered. And Kiki was like, I don't know what my thing's going to be. When she left, she could barely fly on the broomstick. I mean, she was almost falling off the broomstick. She was very much a very amateur novice witch.
Right.
But she had this cat to look after, and she went and she found this weird city. And it's just a very, very sweet story. But why it's called Kiki's Delivery Service is she realizes when she finds this, it's a city, I suppose, but it's a small city. And she realizes that people need help getting things delivered. And she sets up a delivery service where she flies things on her broomstick to deliver to people. So she is literally the
Uber Eats?
The Uber Eats slash Checker 6060 slash Zulzi of that time.
Entrepreneurial.
Yes.
Spot a gap, fill it.
Absolutely. And she does that. And of course, there's all these little trials and tribulations. So the reason I say it has some adult themes is because that is if a child's watching this movie, that's what they're going to see. Oh, there's witch and she goes here and then she has this job and that's the story. But underneath it all.
Was she delivering drugs?
She was not delivering
Is that
drugs.
the adult theme?
No. The adult theme, being typically Japanese, says the movie portrays the gulf between independence and reliance among teenage Japanese girls. And the main theme being growing up, leaving your family, finding that independence, but also, striving and struggling because you're actually just this child, really.
Yes.
So how do you, get to adulthood as such? It's quite deep. It's quite a deep movie. It's very sweet. It's very watchable. Watch it for the cat.
Currently on Netflix, that is not the sort of thing that gets targeted at me, I've got to tell you.
Probably not.
I never get recommended that.
But you'll enjoy it. You know what? Your kid will enjoy it. Watch with the kid.
All right, Kiki's Delivery Service. I'm into that. Full Hartman, I'm there all day.
Yes.
I'm there all day. I do
He
love
is
him.
hilarious.
I do love him. So, yeah, there's no chance that Dori and I are going to overlap on our movies.
I knew it.
If I'm going to do an 80s animated movie about a cat, it's probably going to be Felix the Cat.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that? Was that the one little porno cat?
I think so.
That was the porno cat in the 80s.
You wouldn't do Itchy and Scratchy?
No.
Come on. Itchy Scratchy.
Well, that was Simpsons Shorts.
I know, but still.
Did you ever watch Felix the Cat? Was it
No, I
called
think
Felix
I
the
heard
Cat?
about it. I never watched it.
Felix the Cat was the good one.
Okay.
There was the porno one.
Must I Google this for you?
I'm going to find it for next week. We're going to talk
Okay.
about that.
We're going to talk about
Put on the
porno
list.
cats.
We'll talk about porno cat pornos in the 80s.
Okay.
Everyone loved it. Cousin Louis is losing his shit right now because he definitely exposed me to that. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. Why we're never going to land on the same movie, Dori and I, is that my movie this week is sports movie. And earlier on, I did say Corbin Burnson.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Is he the main star?
He is a star of it. Also starring Tom Berenger.
Oh,
Yes. Also starring Rene Russo.
cool.
Also starring Wesley Snipes.
Okay.
Also starring Charlie Sheen. What a cast that movie
I
has.
honestly can't even think what it is.
No, you won't.
Will I have seen this movie though?
I doubt you would have seen it.
Sure.
No,
Okay.
you definitely will not
I
have
have
seen
watched
it.
some sports movies in my time. Jerry Maguire being one of my favorites.
Okay. All right. So listen, that is all-star cast. We're
Right.
going back. 1989 is when my movie
89.
comes out.
No, it's not Tin Cup. Hey,
No, it's not about Tin
But
Cup's
Renee
about golf.
Russo's in that. Yeah, it is.
Baseball.
But it's also got
Baseball.
baseball,
Right.
not a league of their own though.
No, not a league of their own. The movie I'm doing this week is
Major League.
Major League.
I got it in the nick of time.
Well done, Dori.
I might have watched it way back when. Totally don't remember it if I did.
Let me jog your memory.
Yes.
You jog in baseball sometimes.
Right.
So Major League, the story goes, there is a woman who wants to make the worst baseball team. It's not a fake team. It's the Cleveland Indians. Very problematic name. They're no longer called the Cleveland Indians.
Of course not.
Back then, they're called the Cleveland Indians. I think they're called the Cleveland Guardians now.
Okay.
And she goes, Cleveland sucks. I want the team to lose because if they lose, I can move them to another city that can make more money. Right?
Okay.
Okay. So that's that. You do that in American sports. You can move your team
Right.
to a city that makes more money. So she's now going, I'm going to put together the worst team so this can happen.
Right.
So she gets a bunch of people. So Corbin Burnson is like typical LA Law type, more veteran player, total douchebag. Drives a Rolls Royce, been there, done that.
Mm-hmm.
A-hole. Really not prepared to work anymore. He's kind of made himself.
Yeah.
They bring
Can
him,
I guess who Tom Berenger is? Just from like
take a guess.
knowing Tom. Was he like an alcoholic, ex-military guy type dude?
Ballparkish. He's the coach.
Oh.
He's the coach, but he's kind of like, I'm done.
I'm going to go get a drink at the bar. kind of
Wesley
thing.
Snipes comes in, also baseball player. Super fast.
Yeah, but I'm thinking Wesley Snipes was really fit in those days.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you know. Like,
Super fast, couldn't play baseball. His character couldn't play baseball. He was just
okay.
quick, right?
Right.
But couldn't play baseball.
Couldn't hit the ball.
No.
Could run.
Could run, right? And then Charlie Sheen's character, a character called, the nickname of the character, Wild Thing.
Okay.
And this is where you'll remember it because that song, Wild Thing, they used it when he came up to bat.
Which version
Or
of
came
Wild
up to
Thing?
pitch. I think it was the Trogs. Did the Trogs do Wild Thing?
Maybe.
Wild Thing.
But
you
not
make-
Funky Cold Medina.
Wild Thing, you make my heart sing. No. And he's now a renegade pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic pitcher, but can't aim. Got an arm like a rocket, he just couldn't aim.
Okay.
And now this is
I've
Ragtag.
definitely watched this movie.
Yeah, everyone's watched Major League.
Okay.
Ragtag, guess what happens?
They become good.
They become good. They freaking win the whole thing. Spoiler alert, they win the whole thing. They win the whole
They
championship.
can't leave.
And they can't leave. And but along the way, so many shenanigans.
And let me guess, Renee Russo and Charlie Sheen fall in love.
They do. There's a sex thing. You know, there's a whole that. Charlie Sheen's character has got this like crazy haircut with like, but it's like each side, like you see it a lot, kids now, like specifically south of where we are, they got their hair like shaved like a little light.
I know exactly what you mean.
Right? He's got his hair. And doing the filming of it, he kept getting to fights in bars because people make fun of his hair. So he claims he was also on steroids at the time, Charlie Sheen for reals, as was his character, because he wanted to bulk up and get stronger and have a stronger pitching arm. Right? So Charlie Sheen in a lot of
blood.
not Tiger Blood.
Okay.
He was winning a lot of fights over the time.
Okay.
So the movie Major League, of course, it goes the way of every 80s movie. It does not get sold. There were two endings of the movie. The one that went in the final cut and one where the woman, the owner of the team, wasn't actually bad. It was all part of a plan to get the team to be good so that she could move them.
Right.
Right. If you'll remember, maybe you'll remember the scene, Tom Berenger, the coach, to encourage the team to win every time they win. So he's got a cardboard cutout of the owner, and you're quite attractive, in the dressing room. And every time they win, he removes clothing from the cardboard cutout.
No, don't remember that part.
Okay, very, very 80s. Wouldn't happen now,
Nope.
but it was a thing that happened in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So
Very porkies.
very porkies. So Major League shenanigans did ensue.
Of course.
It did ensue. There was a sequel in 1994.
Yes.
Everyone hates a sequel. Nobody wanted to be involved in it. I don't even think the main cast were back. Let me just double check. Charlie Sheen did come back. He did come back for the sequel. The sequel starred Tom Berenger, Corbin Burnson. Most of them came back. Wesley Snipes did not, but nobody really was into it. And they've long spoken about making a Major League 3.
Oh.
Rebooting it.
Well, they're all way too old now. They definitely can't be playing baseball.
I'd imagine like Charlie Sheen would come back as maybe the coach, team owner, something like that. But nobody's playing it. One of the main criteria when they were casting for the movie that everyone could actually play a bit of baseball, that they were athletic.
Yeah.
And the only one they compromised on was Wesley Snipes, who just was, they had a fake every scene. Believe it or not, they said he wasn't that athletic. Wesley Snipes.
Well, pre-Blade days.
Pre-Blade days and pre-lying about having, what did he say, have a South African passport or something? He's not allowed in South Africa. He did something.
I don't remember. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I don't remember.
It's something with Wesley Snipes. He tried to get in here on a fake South African passport.
What?
Yes.
Why?
It's freaking Wesley Snipes story.
So weird.
Wait, I got to get that story. Wait, hold on. Wesley Snipes.
Did it have something to do with Nelson Mandela?
I don't know. Maybe he claimed he had a passport. It had the South African passport had his ID number, full name, and his photograph, but the ID number on the passport was false. Why? He tried to exit SA with a fake passport. Why would he do that?
Yeah.
When you leave, you're going back to America. Why would you exit an SA passport?
So weird.
Wesley Snipes never changed. Wesley Snipes never changed. So that is my movie.
Not bad.
Major League, not bad. You have watched it. You would have watched it for Charlie
sure
Sheen.
I did. Probably not on the big screen though.
Always wearing
Possibly on VHS.
Always wearing a tank top.
Yes.
That's why you would have watched it.
Maybe.
1989 Charlie Sheen. Not bad.
I was all about Robert Downey Jr. at that time.
Not even just a little detour down the Sheen Highway.
Michael J. Fox, Morton Harkett, Robert Downey Jr., J-Bay.
Very different, very diverse tastes.
Not really.
No, not really. And then Dori's movie, Kiki's Delivery Service.
Yes.
Good movies, got a gamut. Major League, I did see on one of the streamers. I don't know which one it was.
Really?
I did see it there.
Cool.
So you can watch it for free. Or Dori's movie is on Netflix.
It is indeed.
Fantastic stuff. So we head conveniently now into Wham Corner. Wham Corner is so full. Andrew Ridgeley, he's in a lot of things now. He's doing everything. He's doing all the press.
Okay.
Not the show.
Huh.
We'll get him.
Saving the best for last.
Simon Halfin is going to get us Andrew Ridgeley.
Mm-hmm.
He did an interview in the vulture.com. Do you ever read that?
I do. Very good.
So cool.
Very good.
And so they're busy talking to him, and he's now got to pick up, he's got to choose songs, right? As part of it, they give him, you got to choose different songs, and they all got to have a theme. So they give him the choice. They say, which song would you play to convince someone that George Michael was the voice of a generation?
Sure.
Yeah. You think, which song would you?
Listen Without Prejudice?
Not far off. Similar ballpark. Andrew Ridgeley chose You Have Been Loved. Yeah.
Okay.
He said, this is the track I choose to fully express to someone the breadth of his artistic genius. It's the way that he defined his art, his record making, and the artist he ultimately became. He says it's the song that contains every part of him. It's a true story.
Cool.
Heartbreaking song as well, I think, as well. He said, which the song that has resonated with you even more over time?
Sure. One of his songs or just any
George
song?
Michael song. So all of these are George Michael or Wham songs.
Okay.
Amazing.
Amazing.
George Michael's amazing. It's such a wonderful and uplifting pop record with the proper bittersweet lyric at the heart of it. Although its ultimate sentiment is quite joyous, the physical effect it exerts is also fabulous. It's such a beautifully made and expressed song.
I'll have to give it another listen. I mean, I know it, but you know.
Andrew Ridgeley calls it, he said, it's the perfect pop song.
Huh.
Yeah, no.
Is it pop?
Amazing. Everything George, I mean, soul.
No. Yeah. A lot
Amazing,
of this stuff's more soul.
amazing and poppy.
Oh, yeah, it is, I suppose. Okay.
Song that made you realize how remarkable of a producer George Michael was.
Oh, I had no idea.
Careless
I don't know what
Whisper.
he produced.
Careless Whisper.
Oh,
He produced all his songs. But Careless
But yes, especially because we heard the original version of Careless Whisper
Correct.
in the Wham docu. Go watch it.
Correct. I mean, even just the story about the saxophone,
Yes.
but how particularly it was about the saxophone.
Exactly.
So that was Careless Whisper. The song that got George Michael to believe in himself. Wake Me Up Before You Go Go. Of course. When you listen to Wake Me Up Before You Go Go, his voice had developed immensely, and along with the tour had facilitated an environment where his vocal ability and his confidence in his vocals grew. he did break down his voice because unbeknownst at the time, he had polyps on his vocal cords, which meant they had to reschedule dates. A song that will always remind you of your brotherhood. We played it recently on that 80 show, Freedom 90.
Okay.
Yeah. He referenced our friendship in a couple of songs. I love that in Freedom 90 he mentions what it was quite explicitly, eloquently, and concisely. It describes our experience perfectly, and 2 verses are given over to the subjects of Wham. Heaven knows we sure had some fun, boy. What a kick, just a buddy and me. What a kick, just a buddy and me. We had every big shot, good time band on the run, boy. We were living in a fantasy. We won the race, got out of the place.
Excellent.
I was every teenage girl's pin-up fantasy. I think that's also one of the lines.
And boy, come on.
And boy.
You couldn't say that.
And boy.
Couldn't.
I'd say Wham rap. Funny story. Cousin Louis posted up a photo of a couple of us when we were younger. Probably about 10 years ago, 10, 12 years ago. And he goes, oh, look at all these young men. Whatever happened to them? And I said, well, we decided we're happy with nappy. We're in for fun.
Yes, because you've all got kiddie links now.
Correct. And then he finishes off with saying, what is the closest you two came to, not you two.
Yes.
What is the closest the two of you
Yes.
came to revisiting Wham in the subsequent decades?
Was there a moment?
He says not really. He says they did perform several times subsequently. They performed at Rock in Rio in 91, obviously a couple of years after Wham broke up. He said George would often invite Andrew to perform a song or two with him. So he said that he would, but either things would work out or they didn't. But he said the most prominent one was Rock in Rio in 1990. But he said it was so much of a temporal and non-physical representation of our youth that just couldn't come with us. We couldn't drag Wham into middle age. Imagine 2 guys in their 60s singing Young Guns, Go For It. No, that wouldn't work.
That's true.
2 guys in their 60s.
Yeah.
So he said it was probably for the best that they never brought it out. But he wants a hologram Wham reunion, so we may be seeing it all happen.
I mean, if it's the only way we get to do it.
And just to finish off Wham Corner and to finish off the show, Dori, someone found it.
Someone found what?
I'm turning the screen to Dori. Somebody found Club Tropicana.
What?
It had to have existed, but none of us ever thought to look for it. There is a real Club Tropicana.
But wait, when's it from?
This is recent. I found this on Twitter. Somebody said Club Tropicana probably closed down because the policy of giving out free drinks is not sustainable. But I want to go, so I found its Facebook page. This popular 80s bar has everything from drag acts to dragioke to free shots and prize giveaways. I'm very proud and very pleased that Club Tropicana is a drag club.
Oh, that's so perfect, actually.
That is so perfect. Do you want some of the reviews from TripAdvisor? I mean, listen, it's in Manchester, the real Club Tropicana. Now, if you've been to Manchester, I mean, typical Manchester facade, old style buildings, but you've got this fabulous decor on the outside, right? I want to read you some of the reviews of Club Tropicana. First review, this is on TripAdvisor. 4 out of 5 rating. I've never had a bad night there. Was weird last night. We went in around 2 and it was literally empty. By the time I came out the bathroom, it was packed. Lovely bar, DJ and dancing as always. Everyone just enjoying themselves. Oh, next review 1.
Oh.
Disgusting door staff.
I know.
Absolutely disgusting door staff. Was accused of taking people's drinks when I didn't. Then was manhandled by a horrible bouncer. I feel that's part of the experience, being manhandled. and then had the police call on me, rang the club the next day to report, and the manager said, I don't think we're going to get anywhere with this conversation, dear. Absolute C-word ants. Need firing and the place needs closing down.
Huh.
Okay, so that's
where exactly is this place?
Manchester.
Right, you said Manchester.
Another review.
Okay.
1 out of 5. Rubbish club. Me and a party of 8 went on the state. The DJ is very rude. It's called Alex Twopence, the DJ. I told 20 plus people not to bother going in because it was rubbish, and people walked out. A good review, great. 5 out of 5. fun place, must visit. 80s, 90s club music. We have to go back for Dragioki.
Okay, the main thing that we need to take from this is that whoever made the club, obviously a huge Wham fan, right?
That's what I mean.
I mean, that's not a coincidence.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Are drinks free? None of the reviews say it. Listen, it's a mixed bag. You're either going to have a great time or you're going to have a terrible time.
And the cops called on you.
The cops called on you. But a club named after a George Michael
You
song.
want to be manhandled.
I kind of want to have the cops called on me. It's very on brand. I want to be taken outside and the cops called on me.
Manhandling all round.
Right? So if you are in Manchester or next time in Manchester, I will definitely be going to the Real Life Club Tropicana being kicked out. That is That 80 Show. Everything you heard on the show today can be found at 80 Show SA on Facebook. I mean, we covered off Wham, great movie recommendations. Ryan Reynolds bringing Alf back into the mainstream. Dori, any favorite factoids that you picked up on the show
It's
today?
going to be the Club Tropicana because now I'm going to go to Manchester just to see it.
Got to be Manchester sucks,
That's it.
though. Manchester is not.
Never been.
We come from Joburg, and I got to say, Manchester's not the best.
Really, hey?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Got shot. 12-year-olds wanted to fight with me. Old man. Don't fight with me. An old man. Sorry. Thanks for joining me. Goodbye.
Bye.